Welcome to Got Game, or actually Got Gameplay. This is our YouTube channel if you want to actually listen to Got Game, the weekly radio show we do. Just Google us, Got Game, Sportsnet. You'll find everything that we do there. In fact, along with this radio show that we do, this isn't that radio show. This is the video show. I also write a few things on the Sportsnet website, so you can Google that. If you understand this extremely confusing intro, Christine.
I don't. I kind of tuned out a little bit. But what are we playing today, Calhoun?
We're not actually playing anything because Patrick Luciani is actually playing this week.
Luch!
Patrick got himself a PlayStation 4, and I'm not totally sure what game he got it for, but Bloodborne came out, and there I am with a copy of Bloodborne in my hands going, like, this is not me. Have you ever played the Dark Souls games before?
I believe that was my rage quit birthday present to myself, where I wanted to throw the game and myself over the balcony.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a bit extreme.
It got me very... It was the game that I went to make a sandwich with, because there's no pause in it. So I was like, all right, I'll just stay at the base camp and make a sandwich. And when I came back, I died like 6 times.
Okay. This is about as clear and to the point as the plot of The Color of Night. Remember that Bruce Willis movie from a couple years back?
I didn't see it, but I do remember it.
Yes. Very confusing. I don't suggest you watch it. Also involves suicide. You mentioned suicide. Also very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, lots of people die. So many things in common with this game, Bloodborne, except for Bloodborne already has a direct predecessor, if you will.
Okay.
Dark Souls, which is why I brought it up. I'm sure that's not a surprise to anybody now at this point. If it is, I guess keep up. So yeah, I gave this game to Patrick, who seems to be really enjoying it. In fact, he'll join us on this week's episode of Got Game, our radio show that I mentioned before, to review it.
Excellent.
We're just doing this Got Gameplay where we show you a bit of footage. Think of this as like a preview that we do with new gameplay that we see every week. And he seems to really like it. And beyond that, I'm not totally sure what to say in this video, because you got how many hours into a Dark Souls game?
Oh, God. You know what? It's how many hours I got into the game versus how many hours I played, because I died so much. I'd say I probably only got maybe 2 hours into the game, although I'm sure I played it for like 8 to 9 hours. I was just not very good at that game.
Yeah,
Well, it's because there was no saves, so every time you died, you had to go right back to the beginning.
I think there was saves. I think you had to get to these bonfire-type things.
Well, no, okay, yeah, but sometimes those were few and far between. So
Yes.
you'd play like, it felt like ages you would play, and then you would die, obviously, since you do a lot in this game, and then you just have to go right back. And
No, it's true. I mean, that's the point of this game. These games are extremely hard.
yeah, they're meant to be hard.
Yeah, they're built that way. They're built that way as, I'll be honest, though. We're watching this video, and it seems like it has not skipped or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure Patrick's been in this place before already. I think he's lost.
Probably.
I think he's lost, because I remember this fountain.
I found that with Dark Souls, where I'd be walking around like 1 or 2 castles, and I have to go back and forth because there was one little thing that I would miss, and I have to figure it. So there you go. He's probably just looking for that ladder. Oh, that looked like that would have hurt.
I've actually always wanted to do that, like slide down a ladder like that. Not totally sure exactly.
Like in real life?
Yeah, in real life. I'm not totally sure exactly how the physics of that would work.
I think you definitely have to have some kind of talcum powder on your hands or something.
I'd be wearing gloves.
Well, yeah, gloves would work.
Like,
too.
not just my driving gloves, which I actually do own a pair of driving gloves. Probably more like work gloves, like something with padding, with insulation. Because you got to know, like, there's got to be a lot of friction on your hands sliding down a ladder that long. Maybe I wouldn't do that long. Maybe I'd do like one of those extension ladders that the contractors have. You know, they pull off the top of their vehicles and they can extend it. It's kind of like 2 ladders built into one, and just it can double its size. Maybe I'd slide something down, like let's say a 2-story tall ladder. I'd slide down that.
Have you ever slid down a fireman's pole? I would imagine that's kind of similar. Not as comfortable.
Something similar. They had something similar at a park when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. Oh, those poles, yep.
Just kind of a pole off the side of a deck.
Yep.
One end was a slide. Another end was just a fence, which nothing was there.
Mm-hmm.
The third end was kind of the ramp, the internal passageway from a lower structure up to that tallest point.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last part was just, here's a pole that comes off of this child's thing and goes straight down to the ground, which seems totally safe now.
Ooh.
I mean...
Ooh, that's a big thing.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Although everything kind of looks the same to me.
They all have the bad guys kind of remind me a little more of like Resident Evil kind of bad guys than Dark Souls guys. Well, in my version of Dark Souls, I never got past the first bit, so it was lots of me fighting skeletons and then a couple of like giant. Ooh.
Now there is a number of games in the Souls franchise that started off with, I believe, Demon's Soul, and then became Dark Soul and Dark Soul 2. I believe that is the way the games went.
Sounds
I played. Right. I don't know exactly how long I played the first game. I beat the first boss, which was some sort of multi-bug sort of thing with a bunch of shields on it, and you slowly just have to pick away these little bug things and their shields. It's hard to explain. It was a collective of beasts, if you will, acting as one single boss. So you get past that, and then the second boss you have to take on, or at least the second one you encounter, is a fire-breathing dragon. And you have to run across this giant bridge, and at that point, after it roasted me for like the 5th time, I threw my controller away and said, this game is not for me. I do not have the patience for this game. From what I understand, though, to like really actually talk about this game that we're talking about right now, though, the idea, I believe, of Bloodborne is to take that formula in Dark Souls and speed it up a little bit to try and take away some of the plotting nature of the game, which is why, for example, one of the new additions this time is the gun. When I first heard about Bloodborne, I was thinking...
There's a gun?
Yeah. Yeah, everyone has guns now in this game. This game is not, let's say, medieval knights, kind of like the settings of the first 3 games. It's more like Victorian England, sort of. Well, maybe not England, but, you know, a Victorian period European country, and the gun has been invented, so everyone has guns. And the idea is that the gun, which I believe that ghost is actually another person's character, the gun works kind of like your shield in this game. In the original games, you could pick to have like 2 weapons and dual wield, or you could have a shield as, this blood-starved beast. This is one of the bosses. I hear this guy's really tough. And
go Patrick, go.
Go Patrick, go Patrick, go. Go Patrick, go Patrick, go.
Okay.
That's basically the Ninja Turtles rap. Yeah, so they want to make the game a little quicker, so everyone has like guns, and you're supposed to use them as shields. So if someone's charging you, instead of blocking with your shield, you pick out your gun and you fire at them, and they get knocked back.
Oh, okay.
So it works that way. They also have sort of primary weapons that change. Patrick has this sort of switchblade sort of thing where, you know, it can work kind of like a small blade, and then he can extend it full length and just have like a regular sized blade.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to do close-in combat, you go the small sort of configuration. If you want large combat, you go, or distance combat, you go with the, you know, full extended version. There's this really cool thing that is basically like a sword. Like this dude has a sword. Patrick doesn't have it on him right now. I think it's called the Kirk Hammer. And it's a sword, and on the back of your character, you just carry this block. And when you sort of transform it, because all these weapons apparently have transformation abilities where they have 2 sort of fighting styles. Case in point, as I said, with Patrick's little switchblade, he can fight with it now where it's closed, or he can open up and fight with it when it's open. But in this Kirk Hammer sort of situation, your blade can be like just a blade, or you can put it into the stone on your back and pull the stone off your back, and all of a sudden you have this like this sledgehammer deal going on. So
that's versatile.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to open up doors.
I have to say, I'm very impressed with like the fluid nature of this boss. Like sometimes, you know, when you're playing games and you get to the boss battle, the bigger guys are usually a lot clunkier and whatnot. This boss is very fluid, like in the movements. Like,
yeah.
Bravo with the makers.
And also, like Patrick.
And terrifying.
Patrick is like literally hopping around here. I don't think I made this much movement in all the time that I played the Dark Souls guy. But I played like, I do not know what all the characters were. The character I played was a guy in a suit of armor with a sword and a shield. So literally just a knight.
Okay.
And a lot of my walking around was just like, okay, I'm just walking forward, holding the shield in front of me in case someone jumps out and tries to like attack me. And then it would just be wait for the guy to attack me with his whatever, knife, axe, whatever. and then once it hits my shield, stab the guy, and I pretty much stand in the exact same spot. Maybe move a few paces left or right. But as you can see, they are really trying to speed up the process and just pretty much everything about this game. Not just the process of taking down the bad guys, but also just the process of you surviving. Except for Patrick didn't survive there. Patrick just died.
But he fought valiantly.
He moved around a lot, though. I'll give him that.
Very impressive.